right. Okay. So we're trickling in some people, but we're going to get right to it because we have a lot to cover today. I found that with what we do as business entrepreneurs and real estate investors, that the number one question actually trickles down to how do you manage your time? Like that's what it always comes back down to. And you know what? You're not wrong. It's always a juggle, right? I mean, I feel like I'm constantly juggling a billion plates and hats, and so it is very important to understand how to manage your time, and that's what we're going to actually dial down today. So Nick, one of our newest members of our team, he was talking to me and asking me for like a one-on-one on how do I manage between being a real estate investor and being a real estate agent, and then how do you be a mom and a wife and all the things involved. And I thought, I've heard this now so many times, we're going to do a video on this. So that's what tonight is about, is time management. I love when I get to teach because I also learn a little bit, right? That's always the nice part about teaching, is it makes you go, oh yeah, there's some things that I'm also not doing in my life. So it's great to be here. I love being able to share a little bit of my wisdom and what I do on my daily basis, but also I'd love to hear from you guys. So we'll definitely make sure this is interactive, but we're going to burn through a ton of content. So I'm just going to dive right the heck on in. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Let's see, share. Time management. Let's see if you can see my slideshow. Can you see me? Da-da-da. Can everyone see? Mitch, can you give me a thumbs up?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, thanks, Wade. All right. So, so basically, the idea here today is we're going to be talking about who we are, what we do, and how we get it done. So, yes, we are flipping with Mitch and Maeli. These are some of the fun things that we've got going on. I'm going to pass the video here.
Hi, I'm Maeli, now I'm a real estate
Already.
agent and real estate investor.
Oh, I don't want it to play.
Real estate investor.
Go away. All right. So basically, I know that for some of you, this is going to be like, I didn't want to hear this. Well, sometimes we have to hear something that we don't want to necessarily hear. This is it. Make yourself more valuable. I know that doesn't sound very good, but when it comes to time management, that's actually what it's about. It's being able to say no to the things that you should be saying no to, and having absolute certainty of your goals, your dreams, your vision of what you're wanting to achieve today, tomorrow, the week, the month, the year, 5 years, 10 years. Having absolute certainty will create not just excitement, right, for yourself, but for the people that are surround you. It's how you create a tribe, is having a dream, right? Walt Disney is the perfect example of what a dreamer can really look like. So have a dream. People will follow. People will try and serve you, trying to help you accomplish those things. So make sure that you're doing that, because having that certainty will change the entire game. So time management is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be diving, welcome. We'll be diving really into how to separate all the different nuances that come up when you're an entrepreneur and a wife and a mom and a husband and an uncle, an aunt, whatever it might be that you have going on. There's a lot of little moving parts. This week, for instance, is crazy for most parents because it's graduation week. And so it's just hats all over the place, right? And so it is really important to recognize that we have to know our calendar. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right, here we go. Oh, okay. All right. We don't like that. Okay. This is what we're going to be talking about today. We own all of our own time. That's it. Really, that's what it boils down to. We own all of our time, each and every single one of us. So if we want to make a mistake, and by blaming it on the, I don't have enough time here, at the end of the day, that's what we're going to be focusing on most, is just recognizing that we are in control of our own time. No one else is, and we cannot blame it on anyone else. We're going to take ownership of our own time and show you how to do that today. So these are the 10 things that we're going to be talking about. Let's jump right on in. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. All right, wealthy mindset. You've seen this multiple times with Mitch. The 5 currencies of the wealthy. So we have time is the first currency of the wealthy, right? Because it's the most non-renewable resource. And then knowledge, relationships, credit, and money. Well, time is the most valuable resource. So why do we exchange that with money? This is something we're going to have to really talk about today and break this mold, because so many of us just have a really hard time doing this, including myself. So I'm not telling you that it's any easier. Mitch actually constantly is like, Maeli, you're going back to the employee mindset. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta, this is hard. I wasn't raised like this, right? He was, and that's amazing that he can kind of give us that, right? But I wasn't raised that way. And so for me, it's really hard to feel like somebody else can do it. Like as a small business owner, that's what we do, right? No one else can do it better than me. So I better do it. I have to do it. That's not the way it works, right? We have to be able to let other people do things, even if it's not going to be as good as we are, would do it. In fact, usually it's better than what we would do. We just don't want to admit it, right? It's okay. All right. At any given moment, you are doing what you want to be doing right now. Think about that. At any given moment, you are doing what you want to do most. Interesting. Now, I like this mindset, and it was something that was the most breakthrough moment for me, I feel like, when I started learning about time management, because I always said, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. Whatever something came up, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'd really love to do that, but I don't have time. I don't have time. That was actually the first thing that happened when I joined Neuronus. Was I said to my mentor, Dave, I was like, oh yeah, oh my gosh, this would be so amazing, but I don't have the time. That was my excuse. And that's probably most of us, to be honest. We don't have time to be an investor. We don't have time to take for ourselves to become a better entrepreneur or a better whatever we want to be doing in our job, career, life. And it's interesting. So this is something that I recently started using as kind of a sales pitch, if you will, or just informational, really. When I'm going to my closings, they'll ask me, oh, well, why would I trust you, or why you, or whatever the question might come up. And I'll say, what's really interesting is, do you know how long it takes for an esthetician to get their license in the state of Utah? Just curious, anybody out there that's online right now, does anybody know how long it actually takes for a esthetician or hairstylist, master esthetician? Does anybody know how long it takes? Any ideas? It's like 1,500 hours in the state of Utah. And it varies throughout, obviously, different states. 1,500 hours. That's quite just to cut somebody's hair, if you will, right? Okay, maybe, manage some skin. All right, that's awesome. Did you know that you can get your real estate license in 120 hours? That's kind of embarrassing, to be honest. Like, what? I'm responsible for somebody's entire, the most expensive product or thing that they will ever buy in their entire life, which is their house for the most people, right? I'm responsible for that, and I only have to go to school for 120 hours. So you, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, get to choose who you would like to go into business with. Somebody that's only had 120 hours worth of education, or someone that has had hundreds of hours worth of education, right? And those are the decisions that we have to choose. We have to take the time to put knowledge in here for ourselves and recognize that we're never done learning. So if you used to think I didn't have enough time to do stuff. So this was a big one. We own all of our own time. This is something you have to own up to. Everyone does. We have to own up to this. If you say you don't have enough time, you don't. And that's because you don't actually want to be doing it. End of story. So if I hear this excuse from any one of you, this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be brutal. And you asked me to be brutal because you've asked me to be your accountability partner. So here I am. If you say, oh my gosh, I just didn't have enough time, guess what I'm going to say to you then? Oh, that means it's not a priority to you this week. And that's okay. Sometimes it can't be a priority to you this week. And that's the way life happens. But we don't get to say I didn't have enough time, realistically, because if we want to get something done, we definitely get it done, right? If you think about it, this is a little example I gave. Somebody recently actually came to me and goes, oh my gosh, man, you're so busy. How come you're taking on all these new things? And I said, well, I know I can get it done. And they said, actually, that's why we asked you to get it done, because we knew you could get it done. The busier you are, the busier the person is. If you assign them a task, isn't it interesting that they actually get it done faster than probably anybody else? There's a reason. They have time management skills. And they learn something, right, along the way. And so if you, in general, if you think, oh my gosh, I'd really love to get this project done, or I'd really love some opinions on something that I'm doing. If you go to the busiest person you know and say, hey, I need your advice, I need your opinion on this, I bet they get back to you faster than anyone else that you ask. And that's just because they value their ability to make something happen very quickly, and they know how to make it happen very quickly. So let's try and figure out how to do that more in our lives. I love this little image of, obviously the rabbit's like, no time, I'm running late, right? I feel like that's all the time for me. So we're going to jump right into the next one, which is the book by Derek Sivers. I don't know if anybody's read it, but it's called Hell Yeah or Hell No. And my actually really good friend Amber, she says this all the time, but this is a really good book, and it has a really great just suggestion that we should be using more of this concept. And the concept just basically helps us recognize that there's a lot of things that are in our calendar, or maybe not even in our calendar, but just maybe get emailed to us. And, you know, it's, oh, hey, I would love for you guys to come and do this, or hey, could you come speak here, or hey, could you guys look at this property, or, you know, that's probably the main one. Can you look at this property? Can you look at this property? Can you look at this property? In my email box. Or, you know, can you guys come do this, or would you want to go hang out here, or whatever it might be. We really have to prioritize. Is this something that I want to do for me personally, or for my family that's going to better my family? Or is this something that's going to better my business? And if it's not immediately a hell yes, then unfortunately, it's got to be a hell no immediately, right out the gate. It can't be this wishy-washy thing. And recognizing that time management is so important, because if there's even an inkling in your, you know, skin that's like, oh, I kind of, maybe I feel obligated to do it. No. There's no obligation any longer in your time. You don't have time for that, right? That is not how you make money, is an obligation. For who? For what? If it's not making you money, if it's not serving you individually or your family, it's a no. And you need to prioritize those. You need to create those lists for yourself to recognize what that is, because maybe you're not very clear on that. And if you don't have clarity, then your schedule is going to be just chaos. And if I looked at most people's calendars, if you pulled them up right now, you'd probably be like, oh yeah, you don't manage including myself. Honestly, I just went through and, you know, redid my calendar as well as I was training, you know, getting ready for this class, because that's exactly what happens. Is we get a ton of clutter that gets put on our calendar and stuff that gets on, you know, repeat every single week or whatever. And if we don't need it, get rid of it. If it's not serving you any longer, it's a hell no. So read this book. I really love it. It's only like 115 pages, super quick read. I think you'd really enjoy it. It helps you put in perspective of how to prioritize things in your life, and then how to get rid of the things that maybe aren't serving you. Hope that's helpful. All right, most people, hopefully, Brian Tracy is probably one of my favorite people ever. He is just, I love him. Some of the best sales books, but also just motivational books of all time. And just love this man. This book, however, it's Eat That Frog, right? And raise your hand in the chat or whatever if you have seen, or I guess watched or listened to the book or read the book Eat That Frog. Go ahead and put it in there. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I mean, it's such an incredible book to recognize that we have to right now do the hardest thing. And so a tip that, you know, Brian Tracy tells us is basically do the daily highlight, right? And he calls it Eat That Frog, which is pick out the one thing you don't want to do that you know you have to do today, whatever that might be. Maybe it's calling somebody and telling them that you can't actually give them the offer that you were hoping that you were able to, right? Maybe it was you saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to come down $50,000 because you have meth in the house. And if I don't buy it. You're going to have to disclose it. Oh, right. Those are all hard conversations that you might not want to have as an investor. Or maybe it's that you have to not show up to your kid's basketball game or baseball game or whatever it might be, because there is this opportunity, and the opportunity cost is so much higher than missing one specific volleyball game or basketball game. And those are decisions that we have to individually make. And those are hard. Those are very hard. The other night we had our Utah Women's Ren meeting, and it was supposed to be, such a great meeting. And I said no, because, and I was supposed to head up the meeting, but I said no, because I needed to be there for my son's 6th graduation and my daughter's 9th grade graduation. We all end up getting just horribly sick. So none of us went anywhere, unfortunately, but nevertheless, that's what I said no to. And it's because those are my priorities. So having your faith and having your just personal priorities set the tone for the rest of obviously your schedule is very important. But recognizing that if you can eat that frog every single day, even if it's just one task, and I know that seems kind of lame, it's like, really, you just want me to complete one task a day? Actually, if it's every single day, that's 365 really hard tasks that you completed, and you'll feel really good, like really, really good if you actually did that. Now, I'm not asking you to work 365 days because I don't want you to do that. The whole reason why we do what we do is so that we have time freedom, right, to enjoy ourselves. But that really is super important to recognize that we are in control of our own time, and that we do have the ability to be worth more than just sacrificing all of what we think our time is worth. That's not the way it works. When you're a business owner, you've got to be able to say no. So when people tell me no, I actually smile personally. Sometimes I'm like, gosh dang it, get over here. Like you're supposed to be here, right? But at the same time, I value that, because you know what you need to be doing and what is the top priority for your life. And we're not going anywhere. So it doesn't offend me for any reason. I hope everyone knows that. I know it doesn't offend Mitch for any reason. It's so valuable to recognize what you can accomplish and set achievable goals for yourself, because that's really, at the end of the day, how we can accomplish all of our goals, right? All right, we're going to dive. Yeah. Oh, I think she was just saying,
yeah,
I read it.
I was thinking, yes, I've read the book. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're good.
I said,
Just making sure.
Good. Yes. Okay, I'm going to move this over so I can see myself, actually see my notes. There we go. Okay. All right, so the next thing is to-do list, right? Everyone loves a to-do list. I don't care who you are. It feels so good to check off whatever you got going on, right? And I mean, this is probably, I don't know who else does this, but I legit put on there if I've showered. I love like the stupidest little things if I can put on a list and I'm like, oh, I did this. I found my nails. I don't know, whatever it might be. I feel so like, oh, I did this today. And recognizing that is helpful. Little wins. We have to celebrate all of our wins. So whether they're big wins, eating that big frog, or small wins like taking a shower, those are a big deal. And if you're a woman and you have lots of hair, I'm telling you, things that go into this. And so take time to recognize that little wins are just as important as the big ones. And if you can remind yourself that, you won't get so down on yourself. And we are the hardest people on ourselves, right? Like we just tear ourselves apart constantly. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Whatever we're supposed to be doing, we make up in our lives. Let's not create what we could be doing or should be doing, and focus more on just exactly what it's at hand and what we've created as a task and the daily highlight. And then the one thing that we're supposed to get done for the day, the week, the month, the year, and so on and so forth. Okay. That will really help draw us back to being present. And being present in this game is really everything, because it can get exhausting, right? Very overwhelming. It can get feeling like we're not going anywhere. We're just spinning in the mud, right? Just constantly spinning in the mud. So checklists, absolutely right. And I actually have a physical checklist, right? Like this picture, like I legit, because I'm such a little checklist person. I'll wake up at 2 a.m, put something down on my, the 3 a.m. Like if I'm thinking about it, I just put it down. That way it's gone. We are not, so our brain is for having ideas, not for holding them. Write that down. Our brain is for having ideas, not for holding on to them. And sometimes, for whatever reason, we've made up this story in our head that's a really good idea for us to just memorize everything that we're supposed to be doing for the day. And that's where we go wrong. And that's because our time management has failed us, because we think we can manage our own time without writing it down. And then an activity we were supposed to be in charge of, or an event we were supposed to be doing, or a person we were supposed to be calling and following up with falls through the cracks. And that's because we didn't write it down. So if you can take anything from this, is just simply, if you're thinking about it, write it down, don't memorize it. Your brain is not meant to be holding on to ideas. Put it down, now it's gone. You can get rid of it, you can file it away, you can actually sleep, right? That's really important. For me, especially at night, I have to write it down or I won't sleep at all. Like I'm just stewing on whatever I'm supposed to be doing. So write it down, you can leave it behind, backpack, you can put it on later, right? Time blocking. We're going to jump back into this one. Now, I shared this story at our little tea party that we had last Saturday. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. But time blocking really is probably the biggest breakthrough, besides recognizing that I own my own time and having to take accountability for that, and that I can no longer have excuses for saying I don't have enough time to do something. That's not the truth, right? We all know that. So reminders, say that in the morning, right? Put it on your mirror. I don't care what you have to do, but I'm responsible for my own time. I have enough time to do whatever I want to do. End of story. And that's the way it is. So if you're not working out, it's not because, oh, I don't have enough time to work out. I'm choosing not to work out today. That's the choice. And that's okay. You can choose that. You can make that choice. But it's not because you didn't have enough time. I don't have enough time to watch my education. I don't have enough time to watch this webinar or workshop tonight. I don't have enough time to go to the workshop tomorrow night. Okay, those are all things that you don't have enough time for. No. I'm not making the time for it because it's not a priority in my life. And that's fine. But we needed. Huh?
Can I interject here? I just have a thought I want to share. So there's a book that I love called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And he talks about a lot of stuff about, kind of leveling up in life, leveling up in business. But one of the things he talks about is Einsteinian time versus Newtonian time. And I love this because I'm a science nerd. Newton had this static idea of the universe. Like his laws of physics were very static and everything. Like time is uniform anywhere and everywhere in the galaxy or in the universe. And Einstein was kind of like a little more, he developed general relativity and special relativity and said that time was different based on where you are in the universe relative to other things, relative to matter, etc. So he uses these examples to say, you can think about your time in a static way and just say, well, I don't have enough time. I can't watch my education because I have to work out and I have to mow the lawn and I have to do the dishes. Or you can look at it in an Einsteinian way and say, well, I can pop in earbuds and listen to my education and watch and listen while I'm running on the treadmill and listen while I'm driving home from the gym and watch and listen while I'm doing the dishes. Leonardo just texted me. This is a perfect example. Leonardo just texted me and said, I'm watching while I'm cooking dinner for my daughter. Dude, kudos, because you're doing two things at once. It's like you're bending the laws of the universe, right? We can really fit in the things that we want that we want to accomplish. It's just a matter of having the skill and having the will.
Amen. Couldn't have said it better. No, and that's part of actually the story of which I would like to share. So we go along life, and for whatever reason, I watch it with my kids, and I watched it their whole lives. I watched it with my mother and my friends' parents, right? And they serve, right? Parents love to serve. They just serve. They're constantly serving. They'll making dinner while trying to learn. I mean, we serve, right? We do everything we possibly can to take care of our kids, and rightfully so. They need our help. They are kind of, helpless without us, to be honest. Right? It's like, oh my gosh, we're supposed to keep them alive. That's our job. Well, unfortunately, though, what happens is we forget about ourselves. And I have found in the last probably in the last 6 months more than ever in my life, that men and women alike are hitting a threshold now that their kids are, getting to an age where they don't need them so much, where they're going, wait a second, I don't know what to do with my life. Or maybe they had a change in career, right? Maybe life gave them different circumstances and they couldn't do what they were supposed to be doing, or they went to school for, or whatever it might be. And so now they're in a crossroad and they have to make really hard decisions, and they have to go, who am I? What am I without my kids? Or what am I without this husband that I had before and I'm in a divorce, or vice versa? Or, right? These are really hard decisions because we sacrificed everything we were and who we thought we were to serve other people. For how long? And in the group that we were at with the Tea Party, I think I heard probably 40 different women tell me this over and over and over. And I just, like, it hit me with just this wrenching feeling of, oh my gosh, like, we have got to stop teaching our kids, like, now. We have to show them that if mom needs to go work out, it's because it's my time. You're welcome. Because that means that when you're older, you need to take time for yourself too, and know that it's okay. Because if you don't do that now for yourself, then why do you think that your kids in the future are going to think that it's okay for them to take time for themselves to go work out, or eat healthy, or listen to education, or whatever it might be? We are training our kids by our behavior. And if they don't see us doing these things that you want them to be doing in their future, we're really creating a really sick cycle, is the truth. And so it makes me so happy to see people breaking that, thread and saying, no, I'm unwilling to do that from here on out. I am putting my own mask on first. You hear that on the airplane every time you fly, right? Like, don't put your kids or somebody around you's mask on first. You got to put your own mask on before you can help someone else. Because if you don't, you'll die. Well, there's no difference in today's world, I promise. Every day's life, you have to put your own mask on first and recognize that your sanity will create everybody else's sanity. And that's good for everyone, I promise. So do yourself a favor and give yourself a little bit of time every single day to give yourself some freedom to do whatever you want. We'll talk about that here in a couple more stories, or in a couple more slides. But the hat story is very important. So I learned a very unique strategy, and I did share this at the Tea Party, but strategy a while back while I was actually knocking doors. So I would be knocking doors for, 10 to 12 hours for 6 months of the year. And that's a long time. And that's every day, but, every day. There was even Sundays. Like, I worked through the entire, 6 months. And that's so that I could take off for 6 months. And that made it worth it to me to do that. And it was fun. I loved what I did. But while I was knocking doors, you would come home. And even though I would be done knocking doors, what did I still have to do? Paperwork, right? I still had to do a ton of paperwork. And now if I'm done knocking doors, or I'm done making phone calls, if I'm doing whatever I'm doing, then I still have a lot of follow-up to do, right? You're never done with your job until you've done all of your notes. You got to take really good, diligent notes on everything that you're doing, so that when you go back the next day, you're not like, wait, who did I talk to? What did I do? What was this person? What's going on? When did they tell me to call them back? Like, you got to be very diligent on when you're supposed to calling people back. But, right, money's in the follow-up. We see this on every call possible that we have. Money is in the follow-up. And you on the call might be like, oh my gosh, Mitch and Maeli are constantly texting us. Like, they're constantly following up with us. Well, guess what? If we don't take responsible for your dream, sometimes you won't. So we choose to say, yes, this is important enough for you to take time out of your life to make sure you're here and you're learning something and you're inspiring yourself to do something different. We are saying this enough. And if you don't want those text messages, you can just tell us to stop. So until you tell, we're gonna keep bugging you, because money is in the follow-up, and we want you to have that next deal. We want to be able to invest with you on that next deal. We want to be able to help you achieve all of your dreams, because we know if we help all of you achieve all your dreams, we'll always have what we want, right? Zig Ziglar at his finest. So, we got moved. I don't know how to go back. Wait, how do I go back? Why did it do that? It's not moving. Mitchie, how do I make it go back? Mitch, how do I make it go back?
So click on the slide and then use the arrow on your keyboard to go back.
I was there. Okay. Anyway, so thank you. So the hat story is if you're busy and you're still home, because unfortunately with COVID, right, this was like a big deal, is that a lot of us started working from home. And so you'll probably relate to this, or, as an entrepreneur, a lot of times people work from home and your kids, your family, your husband, your wife, whatever, might think that you're not working because you're home. Well, a strategy that I had, and it worked, and it still works today, is I put a hat on. Now you can put anything you want on, a wristband, I don't know, a specific ring or necklace, I don't care what it is, a specific t-shirt. But it says, it tells yourself that you are working and that this is work time. Very important, because as soon as that hat comes off for me, then my kids knew that I was present and that I was home. I was actually home. I wasn't actually still on the call. I wasn't still working, right? And that was a really big difference as far as being able to recognize that I also was able to then take the hat off and be present. Because more importantly in life, it's not how long that you are spending time with your kids. It's not how long you're doing certain activities. Because if you look back in your life, do you remember, every single snapshot of your entire life? No, it's the little nuances, the little special quality moments that you had with your kids, or quality moments that you had with your mom or dad or uncle, aunt, whoever it might be. Those are the moments that you remember. So if you can actually take the hat off and then be like, okay, I'm present now that I took the hat off, I'm here. Like that makes all the difference in the world for your children, for your husbands, for your wives, or whoever, to have a symbol, something for you, not just for them, but for you to go, okay, I'm working, game time, like in the zone, no one disturb me for whatever reason, I'm making this happen for this amount of time, and this is what I'm doing, is smiling down or whatever I'm doing. And then as soon as the hat comes off, right, that's an indication like, honey, I'm home, right? And the kids can come up with you and you can start doing dinner or whatever it might be and have playtime, because you need playtime, right? Everyone needs to be a kid and have playtime. But having those separations is so, so important. And back to the last slide, which was time blocking, we actually time block, as you probably saw in this slide. So I even put on here, spend time with the kids and homework, volleyball practice and ninja practice, spend quality time with Mitchie. Like I literally, like these are just a few examples, right? But I literally have to block in every 15 minutes of my life. And that's fine. I thoroughly enjoy that and I thrive off of that. And, if somebody's making a call with me, I always block it in 15 minutes. Most people on this call could probably testify that. Hey, Maeli, I'd love a strategy call. Perfect. 15 minutes. That's what we got. And we can accomplish so much in 15 minutes. People underestimate what 15 minutes will do. So I highly encourage you to do that if you can. We'll keep moving right along. All right. So move this guy so I can see again. Anybody know? Well, it's obviously on here. So Parkinsons Law suggests that if you allocate a certain amount of time to complete a task, even if the task could be completed in less time, will often take up the entire allocated time. Isn't that interesting? That totally makes sense to me and resonates, because that's totally happened to me. I don't know how many times. I'm sure it's happened with your kids. As just a really easy example. Hey, you have a science fair project and it's going to take you 2 months to get it done. They usually get it done in like 3 days. So why did we give them 2 months to get it done, right? We are the ultimate procrastinators. So why would we give ourselves this much time to get a task done when realistically we could probably get it done in a quarter of the time? So if you really want something done, give it a more efficient timeline so that it feels very like on point and like you're getting after it. Something else that this actually happened to us. So Mitch and I, we had a chance to go to London with our team, and all inclusive paid, right, Mitch? That was so much fun. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. We earned it and we got tickets. Anyway, it was the person that got first class tickets, super jealous. They had to be the number one. We weren't, or like number 4, as far as like the competition went, but it was still awesome to be able to go, all inclusive paid trip, right? We're like, woohoo. And this is what happened. like we found out that we were going, like that we made the trip, and we had to leave within 1 week of going. And so this is why I put it on the bottom. If I said to you, we are going to London 1 week from today, as long as you can get X done, right? How much work could you get done? Huh? Think about it, right? And that's kind of like the 4 week, but 4-day work week. There we go. That's whole, book's about, is because you really can't accomplish so much more if you would just allow yourself to be like, give yourself little goals. If I can get it done in X amount of time, then I'm doing this, right? Create little wins for yourself, and you'd be surprised how fast you can get things done without having a bunch of garbage just pile up on top, right? Get off of social media, get off of all the stuff that's super distracting. I can testify it's very distracting. It just is. And it's natural. All of us go through it. All right. Have protected time. Now, I talked a little bit about this earlier, but it is so important to have a hobby. Now, what I mean by putting on that mask, right? Sometimes that mask means simply doing something that makes you happy. Now, for Mitch, playing the piano, right? That he is a musician through and through. If he has a break for any second, we actually should have a big party here just so that everyone can hear him play, the piano in our he has 30-foot ceilings for his piano. I mean, he's quite the pianist. And it's very exciting and it's very rewarding for him. And that is how he decompresses. And you can tell if he hasn't played the piano. Truthfully, you can tell that he's getting worked up and he just needs to like let steam go and just kind of disappear for a minute. And that's how he works through problems. That's why, you need that downtime to have time to just separate yourself from all the garbage in the world, right? Me, it's workout, right? I work out for my downtime. I don't really have any other hobbies, right? Unfortunately anymore. And I watch my kids play sports like that. Those are my two favorite things. As far as my downtime, I do get a lot of, reward from that. But everyone needs that, whatever that is for you, whether it's arts and crafts or painting or singing, right? Taking time to do something that is important to you that allows you to decompress. And it might be just a 15-minute meditation once a day. And that's okay. In fact, I actually have an app that I'd recommend. It's called Calm, CALM. And it's fantastic because it actually keeps track of, let me pull it up just so, keeps track of like how often you check in, and it has anywhere from your meditation to just music to wisdom to sleep for kids. I love that. Soundscapes, momentum, movement, mindfulness, tools, and workflow. So you can do a meditation almost around anything, and they're anywhere from 7 minutes to 30 minutes. And there's all sorts of incredible, people that you would know, as far as just, Jay Shetty is my favorite ultimate, motivational speaker / just someone that can allow me to decompress, right? I love me some meditation every so often. I try to every day, but it doesn't always happen, right? And that's okay. You have to be willing to recognize that something is better than nothing. And that's okay. Something is always better than nothing. So don't get so hard on yourself that you forget that. Okay. So that's the last thing I'm going to say on that. Actually, let's open that up for a second. I'd love to hear a couple thoughts on what do you guys do? What is your, what do you do to decompress? I'd love to hear. Let's open it up for chat just a second here. I know you heard mine and now you know a little bit of Mitch's. Anybody else? Let's hear.
Feel free to come off mute. Leonardo says.
For sure.
What is it?
Gardening.
Gardening, yes. Oh, I love that too. Yes. I haven't been able to do it this year yet. It's been so dang cold. Every time I go to plant, it's storming or something. I love that too. That's awesome. Anyone else? Taekwondo?
I would say gardening is one of my favorites, but hot tub time.
Hot tub time. I'm coming to your house. That's awesome.
Like 30 minutes. We don't have our phones out there. We don't have it's dark, right? It's in the evening, so it's quiet and
yes, you can just zen out.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I can feel the decompressing happening right with you.
Yes,
I love
So
that.
amazing.
Work out, Leonardo, I'm with you. Yep. Any other amazing?
Paka says Taekwondo. Taekwondo.
Yes, I saw that. I love that. You're gonna teach me some Taekwondo. I have no idea how to do that. Sounds exciting. Anyone else have a fun thing that I haven't thought of? I love hearing new, fantastic decompressing.
Hi, this is Vanya. Do you hear me?
Uh-huh.
So I love to do yoga and I love to do dancing and I love to do traveling. I love to do many decompressing things.
Juggling. I love it. I want to bring you some hats and then you can juggle hats for me for this exercise next time. It looks like Derek is enjoying playing with cute baby. So that's fun. That's some good playtime right there. Hey, baby. See, doing multitasking. I love it. So proud. So proud. Ooh, Sasha, bringing in the heat. I love it. You and Mitchell have to go to the gun range. I don't like that. So go do that. Gardening, yes. Hot tub. Hot tubbing. Ooh, we got a lot of hot tubbing going on. We'll have to invite everybody to our 12-person hot tub. Come to our house. We'll have a big party and we'll come do a hot tub party as soon as our deck is done. Good heavens, I swear. It is. Yeah, someone should finish. Paddleboarding, yes. So we kind of talked about that, Sasha. You better take me next time you go. I would love to. We were up to Pineview this last weekend to go for a hike. And then we were about to put up like our blow up screen. And all of a sudden it started storming. And we're like, we're out of here. It's been crazy weather around here. Crazy. Okay. So I love that some of us were able to get out some of our, how do we decompress? How do we have our alone time? And it could be 10 minutes, honestly, or it could be, an hour, 2 hours, whatever that time is for you. It doesn't matter as long as you are getting you time. Okay. So I expect you to have you time and there's no exception whatsoever. You've got to put your mask on first before you can help anyone else. You cannot serve anyone else without that. So that's your promise that you're making to me, is that at some point every single day, whether it's 7 minutes, right? You can do a 7-minute meditation and have, you can feel very rejuvenated, or 10 minutes in a hot tub and feel rejuvenated. Whereas nothing will make you feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and feel like you can't serve anyone else. Okay. So get rid of that. We're going to start over and we're going to make sure this happens every single day. First things first. Then we're going to learn how to delegate. Now, Mitch is like the king of delegation. So actually, I'm going to let him talk a little bit about this because although I feel like I'm pretty good at this, he's way better than I am. I go it by a long shot, in fact. He's really good at getting people to do stuff for him that they don't even maybe want to do, and somehow they do it anyway.
Well, I mean, that comes back to, I think, some negotiation skills as well. But,
I know.
But there are the basics, right? The 3 P's of delegation. They're pay someone, partner with someone, or pawn it off. And in our case, we've got a lot of really excited students, excited to learn about real estate investing. And I've got a lot of really time-consuming real estate deals, so you might get some stuff pawned on you for learning experiences. I don't know. I'm joking, of course, but no, I think Maeli, you have a great training planned here with the math you've got down here. So let's dive into that.
Sure. Yeah, you got it. So let's break down some of goals that you might have. So I would like for you guys to throw out maybe just a few things that by the end of June you want to have accomplished. I don't care what it is. It could be you want something specific under contract. You could be that you want to finish part of your education. It could be that you want to raise money for this deal. You want to go on a trip, like whatever it is that you're like, I want to accomplish this by June 30th, 31st, whatever it goes to. End of this month, right? End of June. This is what I want to accomplish. What is that for you guys? Anybody throw it out? Got a few chats. Let's see here. Taxes and other STR. Is that what you want to accomplish? You want to get all of your taxes done by the end of June? Is that what I'm hearing, Tim? First rental purchase, love it. Okay. Oh, first rental purchase. Finished moving. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Finished doing all your taxes. Yes. Oh, finished moving to Texas. Oh, Cap, you didn't know you're moving to Texas. How exciting. Okay, that's a good accomplishment. Finished education, have a fix and flip in progress, website finished. Ooh, you got a lot there. Okay. Finished education. All right. Well, that's, I don't know what part of education you're in, but I love that. Love the motivation.
She's in phase 2. She's in profits.
Oh,
That's very doable.
congratulations, Angie.
Angie's killing it.
Oh my gosh, you're in profits. Well done. Well done. Well done. Okay. Yes, you could totally do that by the end of June. I know you can. Website finished. Yes. Definitely lots of tools for that. Plan my time and stick to it for the month. Yes. Like just, I'm doing this, right? I'm blocking out my calendar. Every 15 minutes, I'm doing exactly whatever is on my calendar or else, right? I'm doing it. I love that. Yahoo! Good for you. Okay, so just a few of these. I'm going to actually talk about, let's see here, have my first rental purchased. Okay, well, maybe this is a little broad, but let's work on this one. First rental purchased. What does that look like? So if you, and there's different ways to acquire a rental. So I'm just going to use my favorite way of acquiring a rental. So forgive me if this isn't where you were going, right, in your mind, but we only buy rentals 99% of the time through seller financing. And that's kind of like across the board. If somebody says, hey, are you interested in rental? And I say, is it seller financing? And they say, no, I say, no. Like, I don't even look at the deal because I have my priorities right. There are enough deals that are coming through the pipeline and that we're calling on to say no to those deals. Remember, being able to say no is probably the best skill you can possibly have, right? You can get caught up in all the yeses, so cut it out. Just say no, just cut it out. So if I'm trying to acquire a rental, then I personally need to submit, or any property for that matter right this second, probably closer to 50 if I'm trying to do a seller finance deal. So if I'm acquiring a seller finance deal, I need to make 50 seller finance offers a month. Ooh. Did that scare somebody maybe? That probably did. Like 50. What? You know, if it's a traditional fix and flip, I could probably make 30 offers and get a fix and flip right now, just because there's a little bit more, that there's not as many fix and flippers going on right this second. Last year, that wasn't the case, right? I had to make 100 offers to get one property. But this time, I could make 30 offers and get a property. However, seller finance deals, I'm having to make between 45 to 60 even, right there, about 50 offers to get one seller finance deal. So if I have to make 50 offers to get one seller finance deal, if I'm going to break this down in 1 month, so let's pretend it's the end of this month of May, and I want to accomplish this by the end of June, how many offers do I have to make per day? Ding, 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 ding. Anyone? What are the best ways to find seller finance deals? That is a really good question. Let me get back to that in 10 seconds. Really good question, Leonardo. And yes, I want to answer that because there's so many great ways. So if I needed to submit though first, right? So if I'm going to maybe, well, let me break it down. So if I'm trying to find a seller finance deal, around 2 a day. You're right, Kathy. That's exactly it. So if I'm on the MLS, or maybe Zillow or Redfin, let's just go that direction. And you don't have you're not a real estate agent. You can go to days on market over 120 days. Anything over 120 days, you should be calling on. Every single one of them, right? And you should be calling and being like, hey, are you open to creative acquisition or creative financing? Don't use seller financing terms, right? Don't do that. But you can ask that question. And if they're like, oh, I don't really know what that is. Hey, well, I have a buyer that's willing to pay you more than what your property is worth. Key, right? And we can close usually within about 15 days. Would your client be open to that? Well, I don't know. Great. Let me have a conversation with them. And then we have a calculator for you that does all the math. And it's really easy once you have the calculator in front of you, because people can't say no to numbers. Like, it does all the work for you, which is really nice. So once you've done your seller finance class, deal of the decade, or acquisitions, what's that called? Chris Wilson. My brain just went, anyway, So that class is amazing because it teaches you how to create creative acquisitions and what to say, how to say it, how to make the phone calls, where to find them. But really, that's probably the best way to just break it down is that's the lowest hanging fruit. There's 100 other ways that you could go out and find seller finance deals, but that would be the easiest, lowest hanging fruit. It's called those people at 120 days. And I have a script and everything for you. So reach out to me if you'd like that script. Okay, moving right on. 2 a day. Okay, so we broke it down. I need to submit 2 offers every single day. So that really shouldn't take me. If you have a system, which we talked about the time before this with, or 2 times maybe before this with Dane Clark, right? He talked about creating systems and he is like the man of creating systems. So if you can create a system, which he did, and I have as well, where you have a Repsy, right? That is just digital and you can just change the address, the price, your purchase price, the due diligence timeline, all of that fun stuff. Everything else is really always the same, right? Terms are usually the same, at least as far as your initial offer. If those need to be changed, change them real quick. Like if it's already pre-filled out, it takes seconds to change those items. There's literally like 10 items that you change on a Repsy if it's already pre-done for you, right? And so change those out, submit the offer. That really should take you about 20 minutes a day if you have efficient schedule, if you've created a system. It might take a second to create the system, but that's awesome to think that if you and you could bulk it. Mitch and I were talking about earlier. Everything we do now, we just bulk, right? Like we were talking about we were hiring a new person to manage all of our social media. And she was like, oh, let's meet up once a week and we'll do this. And she was coming up with all these amazing, ideas and content creation ideas. And Mitch goes, so we're going to meet once a month and we're going to do all of this in one day. And she's like, huh? Like, oh, okay, yeah, let's just do that. Like, yeah, we're just going to do that because it is obviously way more effective. We'll be in the zone. We'll be, we're going to bring change of clothes. We can do whatever we're going to do and make it so efficient, dialed in, no phones, right? Just all in, no distractions. That's way more efficient of our time than to try and do it once a week. You get bogged down. You're going to go, oh no, I forgot, or I have this come up, or I have this calendar event, or I have this closing. Closings always screw up my calendar because you don't really get to dictate when they are. But so I would say that is so important. Okay, so that's how we broke down creating seller finance. But let's talk about what your time is worth. I think that that's probably the biggest point of this whole thing is to just say, okay, what is my time worth? And you really need to do this exercise. So if you're watching it now or you're watching it in the future on YouTube, I need you to take a second and really think about this. Grab a pen, paper, your phone, and notes, whatever it is. I want you to post this on your mirror, on your car, on your computer, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. This needs to be on the forefront of your mind every single second of the day. What is my time worth? Think about that. And I just used really simple math. I hope that if you're going into real estate investing, your goal is to make at least $400,000 a year. If it's not, well, this might not be the career for you, only because if you're not making at least that, then it's probably part-time. Part-time real estate investing is more like a job, unfortunately. And that's okay. I always say full-time on my job, part-time on my dreams, right? And that's a Jim Rohn quote. That's a Zig Ziglar. I mean, all the greats, that was their go-to to help them create inspiration and to change and shake and create influencers, right, of their time. It still doesn't change the time today. So full time on my job. I don't want you to quit your job right this second, right? Most of us can't. And so my full-time job is I'm a real estate agent, right? And our full-time job is we're also real estate investor coaches. So that's our full-time job. It just so happens it's kind of in the same, field, which is nice. And it can be yours too, just saying. But until it is like full-time on, maybe you're a surgeon, right? You're scrubbing up every day. Okay, cool. Well, full-time on your job, part-time on your dreams. And you really got to dedicate that time to your dreams because eventually your dreams will make you more money every day, all day long for the rest of your life. And you'll want to do it, right? You'll want to take the time to do that versus the job. The job is something you have to do and nobody wants to do something they have to do. So work on the dreams, but you can't quit your job yet. So How do we break it down? Your time is very valuable. So let's just call it $400,000 a year for easy math here. So I times it by 365. I minus 104 weekend days, right? So that's what that calculates to. 104 days is the weekends. So that's 261 minus 11 holidays equals 250 working days. So we have 250 working days that we're working with here. Now, I hope you're taking more time off than that. I do, but this is just, the normal average person. This is what they are working with. So that's the math that I'm doing here, which means $400,000 divided by 250 working days equals $1,600 per working day. End of story. That's what you should be making, which equals, if you're working 8 hours, that means you should be not making minimum of $200 an hour. So let's talk about that. Let's open this up. People get mad at me. Actually, this is a conversation that gets pretty heated around our house, including with Mitch and anyone that comes and visits us, or when they're talking about our time, right? Everyone's always like, oh, your time. Everyone's very curious about how we manage our time. I agree. It's interesting how people and how Mitch and I were just watching a video on billionaires and how they manage their time. This was a couple weeks ago, and that was fascinating. Like, they don't even, this guy was talking about how they don't even, he's closed multiple billion-dollar transactions over text message, because billionaires don't have enough time. They value their time so much that they don't have the time, or won't choose to take the time, to make a phone call to make a transaction happen. They would rather send a quick text message and then send them, yes, that works. Closed multiple billion-dollar transactions, real estate transactions, over a text message. Now, I'll sign up for that. I feel like that is fantastic. I'm all about that. I think I could get a lot more done if we just did a lot more of this and less of this. But unfortunately, through text message, I do feel like the connection is lost, right? And people do definitely misunderstand things. So if you've been around me, or if you are a part of my team and you're getting, I leave a lot of voice texts. And if you don't have Apple, I get so frustrated because I can't leave a voice text. And I really enjoy them because I can listen to your voice text whenever I have a free spare second, and then I can respond to your voice text. So if you don't get that, you'll probably get a video from me, because that's, it's just easier back and forth. Because I don't know what you got going on either, right? I want to value your time. When you can hear my response, then you're going to, right? It's kind of this nice back and forth thing. Anyway, so I love that billionaires are closing, billion-dollar transactions over a text message, simply because they value their time so much. So you need to value your time in $200 per hour. What are activities this is where I want you to open up here and talk. So feel free to come off mute or go into the chat. What are the activities that you are currently doing right now, every single day, every single week, every single month and year, that costs you less than $200 an hour that you're doing personally? Let's hear about a few of these things. Let's see here. Laundry, right? Yes, totally. I don't do laundry. I do not do laundry. I will not do laundry. Absolutely not. It is not worth my time. I can pay somebody, whether it's my children or our maid, somebody to do laundry way faster, way more efficient, color code my closet for less than $200 an hour all day long, right? I pay somebody to clean my house for $150 a week. My entire house. 4 hours a day, or 4 hours a week, and she charges us $150. And it's amazing, right? Okay, work as a W-2. Wah, wah. Yeah. Okay, well, that's why, right? Full-time on our job part. So our dream, right, is to then take what you're doing, paying bills. No, you need a bookkeeper, right? Cut that out. I have a great one if you want a referral. Heather is the best. So yes, Tim, absolutely. Paying bills. I actually learned that really early on, washing my own dishes. No, you don't get it. You don't get out of that one. Oh, it's Kathy. Never mind. I thought you said that, but I'm like, no, you don't get out. That's funny. Kathy, yeah, don't wash your own dishes. I mean, I don't know. Dane had a good point. I liked his strategy that he had a couple weeks ago with the never having dirty dishes thing. I haven't tried to implement that in my house, but I felt like that was probably a little more work. It's going to take more time to explain it to my kids than actually just doing the stupid dish. But Mitch says it too. Nice. Nope, no way. But yes, the idea is there, right? So if you can hire your children, right? We're supposed to be paying them $12,000 a year anyway, tax free. We might as well be outsourcing that. Pulling weeds. Oh my gosh. Yes. No. And you know what? Your body, not only is time a non-renewable resource, but your body is too. So if you're doing physical labor around your house, like for me, I cannot vacuum. I can't do, mopping, sweeping, pulling weeds. I'll do pulling weeds every once in a while if it's for me to decompress, like if that's something that I'm wanting to do. But to do my entire yard, I have an acre. Like, no. We're not playing that game, right? So if you're pulling weeds, that's a hell no, right? Back to that buck, right? That's a hell no. That's not a hell yes. You can absolutely pay somebody to pull weeds less than $200 an hour. So washing your car, right? That could be one. Decompressing, yeah, no, I get it. So if it's for that, I totally understand, right? If it's for decompressing, then I'm totally fine with that. But if it's just because you feel like you have to have a nice presenting yard, the answer is no, cut it out, right? And if it's taking up active paid time, then you also have to cut it out, and that sucks, right? So you have to be very conscious of your time and how we spend it, because that's the other thing. We're dilly-dalliers. I don't know if everybody's seen that funny TikTok video, but we're dilly-dalliers. And for whatever reason, we will make up so many reasons not to work. Haven't you found that as a thing? It's a funny thing. We make up all sorts of things that we can't do this until this is done. Like, for instance, I made this up when I first became a real estate investor. You're getting the dirty secrets here, people, so you'll love this. So when I first bought my education, I was terrified. I was scared out of my mind. Obviously, I was a single mom. I had just had back surgery. I was in hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And I was just learning how to walk again, right? And I knew I had to do this. So rain or shine, I was going to make it happen, right? I was going to figure this out. And when you have that, light under your, it's going to happen, right? So I knew I was going to make it happen. I'm doing two things at once. I'm listening to my education while working out, while driving to and from kids dropping off, while driving from work, anywhere I could possibly listen to, I was. And which was fine, right? I got through it. And I remember going, oh my gosh, I have to make this next deal, right? I have to close my next rental right by the end of this month. And so I was doing all the things I was supposed to do. And I recognized that I actually didn't know what I was doing, right? I actually recognized I watched all this education, but I wasn't doing it. And a skill only learned and not applied, it's not really a skill, right? I'm sure you know people, and there's a lot of them that go to school and get 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degrees, 4 degrees, and they just are a steward, they just love learning, and that's fantastic. But that's why actually I dropped out of business school. And it was simply because all the educators that I was learning from actually never owned a business, not one of them. And I was relying on them to teach me how to create my own business, right? And I was getting so excited for every semester. I was getting so excited, learn how to do my own business. And each time it was, no, like right? It's all theory. And that's what most business practices or educational platforms are. So it really is fantastic to be able to go through an education platform where they're actually doing, and we're actually doing, we're live, you're in this with us. And I don't remember the secret I was going to tell you, but that was off on a long tangent. But anyway, it is fantastic to know that what you are doing here is actually going to replace that job. It is actually, people are doing what you want to be doing right here on this call. So if you have questions, this is a great place to ask questions. This is a great place to if you want to have a specific topic that we talk about on every Wednesday, please reach out to us. I mean, we have no idea necessarily. I get little, tidbits of people keep asking me certain things that I'm like, oh, this is a good topic because people keep asking me. But honestly, we're kind of in the dark a lot of the time. So please feel free to text us, email us, call us, whatever it is, and be like, hey, I would love to hear this about, whatever you want to learn about. So keep that in mind, that we are here for you and that you do actually have people in the field doing what you want to be doing. And there's a bunch of us. There's not just one of us, right? There's multiple people here that are here to serve you and to take care of you and to make sure that you hit your goals and hold you accountable. So I want to make sure. So if you I would love to hold you accountable to some of these goals that you said by the end of June. So I dare you to put, if you will, email me, Maeli. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Actually, Mitch, will you put it in the chat? And I'll go to the next slide. So Mitch will put my Maeli real estate team at gmail.com in the email chat right now, and text me or email me your goals for the end of June. And then in June, I'm going to hold you accountable to what you said you're going to do. Whatever that is. Moving to Texas. I love it, right? How are you going to do it? Break it down for me. Okay, so if by the end of June, I'm going to move to Texas, how am I going to move? That means I have to pack X amount of boxes a day. That means I have to schedule cleaning. That means I have to, whatever that looks like for you, I want a timeline, an efficient timeline, so that by the time June 30th or end of June comes around, you don't feel like you're overwhelmed. You feel very much like I did this, and you feel accomplished. And yeah, that's what I want for you. Oh, back to the travel thing though. So how fun is this? Travel with Mitch and Maeli. Can we all go to Cancun soon? Because that's what we're doing this year. When are we going, babe? Isn't it August or September?
It's September.
Yeah.
Unless it conflicts with FanX, then we're staying.
No, we're not. We're going to Cancun. Y'all going to Maeli this time if that's all right. FanX sounds cool, but just saying, we got to go to Cancun. So this year, our team, we're all going to Cancun. So come hang out with us if you want to learn more about that. And you want maybe a free ticket, talk to us a little bit more of that as far as like a flight, if that's exciting to you and you want to earn a flight for two, then let us know how we can help you accomplish that, because there's always ways. Mitch actually earned an entire trip to Spain, all inclusive. Like, what? I wasn't a part of this. I'm really offended. I actually met him like 3 weeks after he got back from Spain.
It was like 2 days after I got back, actually. That's when I met you.
Oh, 2 days? That's terrible. Like, what? Oh, where else did we go? Our team went to what was the Isles? They're the brain. Where's the so hot? Oh, you got those nasty
Panama.
Panama, yes, Panama. And yes, we did make them play that song the whole time. But yeah, so come travel with us. It really is super fun to hang around people, because you get like an entire week with a bunch of investors. So there's usually like 200 of us that go, and you get to mix and mingle and hang out with the top investors that are across the nation too. It's not just right here. It's not just Utah's, investors. It's all over. So it's really fun to mix and mingle and to hang out with the lot of us. Okay. We're going to talk about this real quick. We're almost running out of time, so I'll burn through this. So basically, Calendly has saved my life. I know Mitch's life and a lot of the people that I know, because Calendly allows you to not have to go back and forth trying to create time. That creates a lot of like chaos and makes it really hard for people to say yes to something. So by the end of June, you can hold me accountable. I will have my Calendly link and everything ready to go on social media by the end of June. And my calendar, because you have to be really diligent with your calendar to make Calendly work for you. And so I will have it up and running so that if somebody wants to have coffee with me, they can go in there and schedule it. If my friends want to have lunch with me, guess what? They're going to have to go in and schedule it. If my mom wants a breakfast with me, they're gonna have to go and schedule it. Everything is going to be scheduled through Calendly, and it's going to relieve so much time management for Maeli, and that makes me really happy. So something like that I would love for you as well. Automate your life as much as you possibly can. Something as simple as, I know this sounds lame, and if it's not being sponsored by Stanley, but if Stanley, ever is listening, I would love a sponsorship. No. So I love this mug, and people are like, Utahns and their stupid Stanley mugs. The truth is, this is very efficient for me. And why I'm saying time management is I can fill this once up in the day, and it stays really cold all day long. In fact, it'll stay cold all the way tomorrow if I don't drink it. And now I'm not going up and down, filling up my cup. That probably saves me like 15 minutes a day, simply by just having a ginormous jug that I can keep by me and fill up once in the day and not have to keep going back. That's simple. But guys, 15 minutes, right? Every 15 minutes adds up. And if we're doing, and then what happens when you go downstairs? Oh, well, I'm going to do this. And oh, maybe this is dirty. And I gotta dilly-dally. Got to stop dilly-dallying, right? We got to be efficient with our time and be very proactive and act like you mean it. Because if we treat this like a job, it's going to actually pay us like a job. If we treat this like it's for our dreams and it's our goals and it's that's who we are and we have to do this, we're going to die. We will make so much more money at this. This isn't a hobby for us. It can't be, or you're not going to make any money. Okay. So you got to be very diligent with this. And then the last thing that I'm going to say is the choice to be satisfied. Now, we talked about this, I think, on the last call a little bit, but it is really hard when you get to certain points in your career or in your life or checkpoints. And you're like, oh my gosh, I made $1 million this year. I thought when I made $1 million, I was going to feel this, and I was going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm this cool person and I'm like, my life's made. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that. Or maybe your check mark was, oh my gosh, if I just made $100,000 this year, like my life would be set and it would be sunshine and roses. Unfortunately, or if I just wrote my book, or if I just had a video go viral, 50,000 or 200,000, or if I just had whatever it might be, I just bought my first rental, or if I bought my 10th rental, whatever you are wanting to do by the end of June, or whatever you're wanting to do by the end of this year, be satisfied. Give yourself gratitude, because if you don't allow yourself to say, wow, like give yourself a pat on the back. You have accomplished really hard things. First off, you're here tonight. So all of you should be giving yourself a round of applause, right? Because just sacrificing the time to be here is a big deal. And you're taking the time to educate yourself, put good things in your brain to make a difference and to change your mindset. That's a big deal. And I don't want you to discount that for any reason. And if that maybe your goal this month is just simply to be at every event you possibly can, just to soak up and absorb as much information from all the people that you can surround yourself with. Or maybe you go to one event every week or whatever it might be. Those are all really great goals. And I don't want you to discount any of those things that you were personally working on and are your goals. I can't set those goals for you. I don't know what you need for your family. I don't know your time commitments that you already have and the sacrifices that you're already making. I don't know those things, right? We can't do that for you. All we can do is hold you accountable to what you want to do and how fast you want to run. So be satisfied. Give yourself the ability to be like, oh, I can be proud of myself. You deserve to be proud of yourself. And I know that seems maybe lame, but you shouldn't think that's lame. You should be. My niece, maybe she's still on. I know her husband was on a little bit ago, but she wrote out this really cute message on like Facebook, and she's like, I'm really proud of myself. And she accomplished like a certificate of some. She's that weird that I'm saying I'm really proud of myself? I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that, right? Like, Brittany, I love that for you, because if you can acknowledge, whether it's on Facebook or wherever, I don't even care, just to yourself in the mirror, I'm so proud of yourself for accomplishing this today. So proud of yourself for accomplishing this phone call that was really hard. I'm proud of myself. That's a big win, and you need to celebrate. Because if you don't, I promise when you get to the big win that you think you're trying to get to on the other side, you won't feel like it's a win. You'll just be like, oh, cool, that's done. Now what? Right? Like off to the next thing that I have to do, right? So give yourself wins every single day. It really is super important. You will enjoy the journey much more if you just take little tiny, we were talking about it earlier, right? Little bites, right? How do you eat a, what was it you said? How do you eat a elephant? There it is. How do you eat an elephant? Small little tiny bites. Okay. And is that it? I think that's it. Okay. And I always end with, of course, dream big, princess. All right. That is all I personally have. I want to open it up. We have just a few minutes left for questions or comments, suggestions. What do you guys got for me tonight? Us. Mitch, you can come off as well. Let's see here. Oh, God. Thanks, Angie. I missed you at the tea party, y'all. The heck, man. All right. Good deal.
I was at my Tony Robbins event all weekend.
Oh, that's right. All right, you're excused.
Spending my money.
No, for sure. That's so fun. I'll get you to the next one. It'll be we're already trying to plan it. I don't know what we're gonna do next. I think we're trying to plan like a pool party or something, but we're gonna have, fanboys, pool boys or something fanning us. We're not quite certain.
I like it.
I'm being funny. Yeah. Hey, why not? Do you have any fun magic to share with us, Mitchie? Ooh, yeah, we need to share that. Do you have the link and stuff to put in the thread, or do you want me to do it? Yeah, so
While
tomorrow,
he's doing that one. Sorry, can I share something real quick?
please.
I was just gonna say, I do my time blocking on a calendar, a week by week calendar, but I also spend just a few minutes journaling and thinking about what is there an activity that week that if I did just a few minutes of extra planning would make it better, more magnificent, right? And it could be little things. It could be thinking of taking a thank you card with me. Just like, what are the things that I could do this week that are going to make these things more powerful for me, more powerful for other people? And usually it's just a few minutes of thinking about it and maybe 2 minutes to write the card or send the letter or order, looking at it, go, gosh, I'm going to be really busy. I better put in an order, that food delivered from Costco, right? The groceries delivered. And so I always spend just a few minutes going, okay, this is my schedule. What can I do to make this more, when you're talking about your priorities and dilly-dallying, like what can I do to make these events better, right? So it's not like you're having to make everything better, but like I went down to see a girlfriend in Las Vegas, and I was like, okay, how can I make her feel special when I see her? So, but it's thinking ahead. When I look at my schedule for the week, I'm like, okay, how can we, what instead of like, like we're supposed to see Charlie and Chocolate Factory this weekend in St. George. How can I make my husband feel special when I'm with him this weekend? So it just might be a couple of minutes of thinking about something and then putting it into place. But I do that when I'm doing my weekly planning, and then I block out everything by certain colors so that I can look at it and go, okay, do I have some pink on there for date night? Do I have blue for family? Do I have purple for my physical body? So I can kind of make sure I see something in there.
I love that. I love that. Yes. And actually that goes into a whole different, right? Like that's a next level type of time blocking. And I love that. And I absolutely have to use that as well. But for a lot of us, we're just kind of getting started in creating this time management. And so that is definitely actually something that I would love for maybe you and I to strategize about, because I love knowing that you know that too, because yes, I leverage that for my entire life. So I would love
to. Yeah.
And we should totally do a Zoom call together. That would be so fun. Let's do it.
That would be.
Okay. That is the next one. Then we'll level up this time management to a whole nother level, because it is important, right? You do have to have your spirit, all of the different levels of learning and how your body needs to thrive in life. You can't thrive with that, with unbalanced anything. Unfortunately, if one thing's suffering, everything's suffering. And we do
Yep.
know that. It's just that we tend to get overwhelmed and then we just don't do anything. That's the normal response to everyone, in fact. So if anybody ever says no to you, so if you're smiling and dialing or whatever is going on, if somebody says no to you, you know why they said no? Because of you. I know that sucks to hear, but it's because you didn't create a scenario for them to be able to say yes. Because everyone will say yes to something if it's easy, if it makes sense to them, because it's way easier to say yes than it is to say no. But if it's complicated, it's overwhelming, it's easier to just be like, I'm not doing it. Nope, I'm out. So just like with their lives, we have to really create something that's simple, easy to look at, easy to manage, so that it makes sense to us, and it feels good to us, and not like chaos and I don't know how to like that's overwhelming. And nobody wants that. And it can't feel like that. Like if we don't dial in our schedules, hats, lots of hats we wear. So got to get those dialed in. I love that. Thank you for sharing. So let's communicate. I would love to do something like that with you.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any other fun, wonderful things you'd like to share? Oh, perfect. Okay, so tomorrow at 7 p.m. we will be there a little early. So if you want to come and meet and greet and mingle, feel free to. But at 7 p.m. we're going to be at my office. Click on that link, register. It is a free business credit and business and credit for real estate investing class. So how to leverage your DUNS number is basically what this is going to be about. And then how to use that DUNS number to get, hundreds of thousands of dollars in free money, essentially, right? Because it's not going to affect your own personal credit. It's going to affect your business credit. The nice thing about business credit is if for whatever reason, not saying this is going to happen because it's not, but let's say something crazy happens and that business is going to go under. Great news. You can close out that business and it will not affect your own personal credit whatsoever. Isn't that crazy? You can actually shut down a business, right? And not have it affect your own personal credit for any reason. That's amazing. When I learned that, I went, how do I leverage? How do I do that? More of that. And it's by having a DUNS number. And so we're going to be talking about the DUNS number tomorrow night and how to acquire one, what that looks like, what the banks need to see in order to get, I've gotten up to $250,000, 0% interest credit cards using this specific strategy. So that's why I'm going to be sharing with you guys the exact process, how to do every little tiny detail, because it's very specific and what they want as a business owner. And then how to take that money and go do real estate, because that's obviously what we all want to be doing anyway. So that's what Mitchell will be talking about. So we're going to be covering both topics. We'll be diving in a little bit of velocity banking to show you how to run those numbers through business credit. So it'll be really exciting. It goes from 7 to 9 p.m. tomorrow night at my office over at Top Equity. And the seating is limited. I think we have, last time I checked, I think we have 15 seats, maybe 10 seats left. So get them while they're hot. Come and join us. It'll be so exciting. Unfortunately, I don't have a Zoom link yet. We are figuring that out. Yeah. And we are wrapping up our podcast room. So if anybody is like dying to have, an idea or wants to be on our show, please, DM me or email me and let me know like, hey, I would love to have this topic, or I'd love to have a show, piece on the show for this. We're going to be having a lot of fun with the podcast as well. Let's see. Dang it. I wish I could be there. Oh, Kathy, I'll miss you. I wish you could be there too. We will do this exact same thing on a Zoom call. So it has been something that we did a class for the credit class. Gosh, it's been 3 months ago now. And it was, sold out within like 2 weeks. Like it was crazy. And this has only been a week and a half and it's almost sold out. So it is a hot topic. People want to know how to leverage their business credit and nobody ever teaches you. Like I don't know why it's this hidden thing that all these companies try and take all your money. It's like, I'll teach you if you pay me $50,000. What? Get out of here with your garbage. Like, I'm just going to tell you how to do it right now. Okay. So, and that's just because I went through the whole process myself. Therefore, because I did it, I'm like, oh, I'll just show you how I did it. And that's really helpful to any business. I don't care what business you own, having that leverage takes any business to the next level. So hope you guys will love that. Once we do the live version, we will come back and do the Zoom call, I'm sure, but we'll try and get it on the calendar here very shortly if everybody would like that. Let's see. Is that, let's see here. Eventbrite. Yay. Okay. So it will, I can't see my screen anymore, so I'm gonna edit out of that. But that is all we have for tonight. If you guys have any questions or concerns or would love to, share anything, again, just feel free to email us or jump on YouTube and make some suggestions or jump on any of our social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you guys. Stay safe, stay hungry, stay happy. Anything else you want to add, Mitch? All right. Love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for being here.